You ever scrolled through one of those jobs you never knew existed articles?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
This deep dive, I think, is going to be right up there. We're diving into the role of a train preparer.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, before you picture, like, someone with a dusty lantern waving a train ahead, RoleCatcher paints a much more dynamic picture, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. We're talking about, like, the hidden symphony behind every train journey.
Interesting. It is fascinating, when you think about it, like how much we take for granted when we hop on a train
Right.
and we just trust it's going to be safe, efficient, on time. But how often do you think about like the preparation?
Never.
Right, what goes into making sure all of that
Yeah,
happens?
exactly.
Yeah,
So RoleCatcher uses this phrase, fit condition to enter service,
right.
which sounds pretty official.
Mm-hmm.
What does that actually entail for a train preparer?
That's a really loaded phrase because it covers so much.
Huh?
Think about it. A train's not just one thing, right? You've got all the carriages, the braking systems, electrics, emergency equipment. I mean, every single one of those things needs to be checked, double checked,
Oh, wow.
before it even thinks about leaving.
And we're not just talking visual checks here, it seems, right?
Oh, no, no. A train preparer, they need to understand the systems inside and out. So we're talking about air brake pressure tests, making sure those brake shoes aren't worn down. Are the electrical systems all good to go? Even testing how the emergency equipment deploys.
Wow.
Yeah, because any oversight there, you're talking delays, safety risks,
Huge.
accidents.
They're
Yeah.
like guardians of the rails almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
The guide also mentioned something called train formation,
Right, right.
which I admit I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, it's one of those things you'd never think about.
Right.
But it's crucial to everything running smoothly.
Okay.
So train formation, it's how all the carriages are arranged.
Oh,
And it's not as easy as just hooking them up. Right.
I was going to say, like, is it more than just connecting them?
It depends on the pathway, where it's going, how long the platforms are at each station, how much the carriages weigh, even stuff like, are there a lot of hills on the track?
Wow.
The train preparer, they have to make sure it all fits together, literally.
So they're not just making sure the train works, they're making sure it's set up to actually, like, do its route.
Exactly, yeah. Efficiently and safely,
Smart.
And that's just one thing, right? You get some train preparers who are like the inspection specialists.
Oh, really?
They'll go even deeper into the mechanics, the systems to figure out if there's anything wrong.
Okay.
They're using all the high-tech equipment, looking at data. They're like the eyes and ears of the whole maintenance team.
That's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of work that goes into a train journey before anyone even gets on it. I'm already appreciating this role more, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
It really makes you appreciate those journeys more, knowing that everything's been looked at.
It does. It does.
And it takes a particular kind of person, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They've got to have an eye for detail. They've got to be technical, but also understand the big picture of how it all works together.
Totally. Now, one thing I think people get confused about is train preparer versus train driver.
Right, right.
They both seem involved in getting it ready,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they're different.
Yeah, they are. Think of it like the train preparer is the stage manager,
Okay.
making sure everything's in place, all the props are set, lighting's good, before the play even starts. The train driver, that's your actor, taking center stage when the curtain goes up.
Okay.
So they're operating it, watching the signals, navigating the track.
Oh, I see. I see. That's a good way to put it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the train preparer sets the stage, makes sure it's a safe journey, and then the train driver, they make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
But just like, you need different skills to be a stage manager versus an actor.
Right.
Same thing here. So yeah, they both need to get railway safety and all that. But a train preparer, they need that meticulousness,
Yeah.
to spot anything out of place. They need to know how to fix stuff, mechanical, electrical. And then, like we were saying, understanding how the different train setups affect things.
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah.
they're problem solvers at heart.
It makes sense. So it sounds like train preparers are way more important than we realize for everything running smoothly and safely.
100%.
But what about the career itself? Like, what does that look like for someone going into that?
It's actually, it's more structured than you might think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, RoleCatcher, they lay out these different stages, like from starting as an apprentice all the way up to like senior roles.
So there's like actual room to grow in this job.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What does it actually look like day to day, though, for someone who's, say, like a train preparer or apprentice just starting out?
So At that level, it's very much like hands-on, learning the ropes.
Okay.
Imagine being paired up with someone experienced, they know every train model, every sound.
Yeah.
And you're right there with them, helping with the inspections, doing more as you learn.
It's that mix of the technical stuff, but also having a mentor. They're
Exactly.
learning the why, not just the what.
And then, as they move up, become a junior train preparer, they're doing those tests, the inspections, but more on their own now.
Right.
And that's when they're getting deeper into the train formation, like we talked about.
Oh, right, yeah.
Making sure those carriages are lined up perfectly for the route.
So I'm guessing communication, working as a team, that becomes even bigger as they go along.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just off doing their own thing. They're talking to the engineers, the yard masters, even the cleaning crews,
Oh, wow.
making sure it's all good. And then when they hit that intermediate level, it's not just about following steps anymore. They've got to understand the why, the logic, and what to do when something unexpected happens.
Problem solving. That's a good skill to have.
In any job, really. And that's when the safety stuff, the regulations, all that gets even more important. They're documenting everything because they know it all matters for everyone on that train.
Right, yeah. Like their attention to detail, it's not just a small thing, it's huge.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about like the top level? What makes a senior train preparer different?
So they're like, think of them as conducting that whole pre-departure symphony we were talking about.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
They've worked their way up, they know all the parts,
Right.
and now they're leading teams, teaching the newer folks, making sure the whole thing runs like clockwork, or I guess like a really well-maintained train.
Right. That's a journey from apprentice to running the show.
It is.
RoleCatcher mentions the salary's good and the job security, which, these days, that's a big plus.
For sure. And it's a field where you can keep learning, keep moving up. That's attractive.
It is, but got to be real, right? No job's perfect.
Right.
What do they say about the not so great parts of being a train preparer?
Well, it's physical. You're on your feet, outside, rain or shine.
Ah, so no sipping hot cocoa while the snow falls.
Not quite.
Too bad.
You have to be kind of fit, comfortable in tight spaces, up high sometimes.
Wow.
Climbing ladders around heavy equipment. It can be loud. It's fast-paced.
And I'm guessing the hours aren't your typical 9 to 5?
Yeah, trains run all the time, right?
That's right.
So you got to be flexible. Weekends, holidays, even overnights. It's all part of it.
Okay, so it's stable, you learn a lot, but you got to be okay with the physical stuff and the hours.
Yeah, it's finding the right fit, personality-wise, lifestyle, all that. But if you like hands-on, figuring things out, knowing your work keeps people safe, it can be a really good career.
It's cool. We've talked a lot about like the traditional skills, but the guide also mentions how tech is changing things.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't something you automatically think of with this, It's interesting you mentioned that because I tend to think of train preparation as very hands-on, almost old school in a way. But the guide mentions advanced diagnostics, sophisticated software, even sensors that monitor train performance. What kind of impact is this technology having on the work of a train preparer?
Oh, it's a huge change. It's making the work more efficient, but also like you need more brain power now.
Right.
So, for example, in the old days, they just visually inspect the brakes, right?
Right.
Now they've got sensors for that, giving them real-time data like what's the pressure, is there wear and tear, even the temperature.
Wow.
So they can actually get ahead of problems.
That's wild. So it's like having, X-ray vision into how the train's doing?
Kind of, yeah.
They're not just fixing stuff, they're predicting it.
Yeah, exactly. And this whole data thing, it's everywhere now. Modern train preparers, they got to be able to read that data, figure out software glitches, work with computer systems.
So the wrench is important, but so is, the tablet.
100%, yeah.
That's so cool. It's
Sure.
not just about being strong and knowing how to fix an engine anymore. It's like you need that analytical brain, that ability to keep up with tech.
And honestly, that's true for so many jobs now, isn't it?
It's true.
Being able to learn new tech, that's key.
Makes you wonder, what else is going to change? I mean, they're already testing those self-driving trains, right?
Yeah.
Could we see AI doing these checks one day?
Oh, totally possible. I mean, think about it. AI is already doing predictive maintenance in other industries.
Right.
So yeah, imagine a system that takes all that sensor data, figures out what might go wrong, and even tells you the best way to fix it, all before a human even gets involved.
That's wild. So the future of the role could be really different. But for now, it sounds like that human element, that careful checking, understanding how it all works,
Still crucial, yeah.
that's still what matters.
Technology's a tool. At the end of the day, it's the train preparer's experience, their gut feeling sometimes, that really makes sure everyone's safe.
Very well said.
Mm.
This has been eye-opening, I gotta say. A whole hidden world I never even thought about.
Mm.
And, maybe someone listening right now is thinking, hey, I could do that.
Right.
It's a good reminder that there are cool jobs out there. You just gotta know where to look.
It's been great chatting about this. Really interesting stuff.
Likewise. And for anyone who's now intrigued by, those off-the-beaten-path careers, RoleCatcher is the place to go. I've got tons of resources to help you on your own career journey. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.